or what?
No, yeah, I mean you were explaining, but the flow is we were talking about something. The whole trend. That was a good conversation. The trend is for us to move towards enlightenment. Because I was thinking about there was a time when I was thinking about the notion of because I've actually spent enormous amount of time thinking about looking at this thing. I'm writing about it. I'm having conversations, and because the thing about when you spend a very long time on a problem, and then you see how flippantly some people approach the thing, at times you just because when you spend, it's like you can simply detect someone speaking who let's say they're approaching at level 1, and let's say you are level 7, you are struggling to understand, and you see the way from the way they're speaking, you just have to know this is a level 1. This person is just being introduced to this thing, but you see the way they're speaking is as if they have been in this game like for 27 years. And so there are some of those aspects where we keep that aside. The point is, the point is, um, what I'm trying to do, and partly the reason why I started that the organization which I started was because of having these conversations, trying to interface with individuals, and I'm seeing the responses that I'm getting, and I'm asking myself, and because I'm seeing also what is going on in the West, and I'm asking myself, I'm looking at where Africa is, where we are in terms of the mindset, because I'm saying, okay, I said this thing, I said there is science. As it started off as some kind of science versus religion. I said, okay, look at something. As you said something that there are some positive aspects, therapy in religion, which I agree. True. Okay. So I said, this thing is like a tool. Don't religion is like a tool, as like a knife, for example. You can use a knife to stab someone. You can use it.
Many people don't know that. Many people don't know that what he just said like that.
Okay.
That religion is like a tool. Many people don't know it.
It is like a tool. It is like a tool. But here's
Many
the
people don't know
thing.
it.
A knife is also a tool. But here is the thing. The knife is a tool in an agent's hand, and that agent is a human being. So the most important tool is the tool that you can upload in someone's mind. Because if you have a tool that you can upload in someone's mind that can either capture that human being, you can do very useful things, and you can do very negative things. So, as I ask myself, is it not the case that the mindset, a tool like religion, which has a potential to what I call to be uploaded in to because it's a tool that affects the mind, or that influences the mind positively or negatively. So isn't it important? Isn't it very important to really understand any tool that approaches that is used to influence the human mind? We're talking along lines of now attitude, mentality, and all of that.
It is very important. I believe many people don't see it as a tool. They believe it is part of us that's always been there, and things like that. You actually see it as a tool. If you see it as a tool, it'll be easier for you to find out what you can do with that tool. What exactly is this tool? How useful is this tool? You understand? I believe many people don't see it as a tool. They believe it has always been there. And it is part of them.
Yeah.
They've cemented their beliefs.
Also recently, right, I've been thinking about this thing.
I think it comes back to the mindset, to the mindset. When you have people who cannot think, who are not willing to think critically, they are so stoical.
Yes.
They don't want to see beyond their beliefs.
Yeah,
it's a huge problem.
Emma, here's the thing. This because I've looked at these individuals. These are because there was a word I used to use. I used to describe many religious people as victims. So the reason why, and I'm very serious about that. The reason, yeah, they are victims of childhood indoctrination. Right?
Now, look, everybody has a chance to graduate.
Originally, they are victims of childhood indoctrination.
To tell you the truth, if I imagine the world without all that childhood indoctrination like that, there'll be chaos everywhere because everybody will just be free to do what he or she wants without any remorse. Without any remorse.
There are humanistic values.
In childhood, when you are just growing up, you don't know about things, you're still struggling to learn the norms. I think it's important at that level. So what about when you grow up? Another thing, what about when you become educated?
I think, okay, I think maybe this is
for children
interesting. Yeah.
For children, I will not blame them. In fact, they need it. It's just like, for example, in the West, where they say, okay, don't use the cane, the whip on a child. Of course, you can use religion as a tool. You say, okay, oh, God is there. He wants you to be like this. Very important. I mostly have a problem.
Yeah,
I mostly have a problem with educated adults. Those are the people I have a problem with.
The case for adults is clear.
You can choose not to believe, in fact, not to even accept or not to even believe. You can choose to believe, to maintain your beliefs. But those who don't even want to reconsider the discussion, or don't even want to even look past their beliefs, especially those who are educated, adults, worst of all, scientists. So I think it's critical for those kind of people.
Yeah.
But I believe majority of Africa, sure, we have many educated people, but we don't have many critical thinkers.
That is the point. Thinkers. Thinking. Forget about, because you would say, oh, this guy designed the engine.
Religion is not necessarily supposed to be a bad thing. You see, the other day online, I was watching a video about one young man. He was talking about religion as a tool. He said the way Africans have used religion is really jaw-dropping. Look at the West. Religion exists in the West, even the East, in fact, all over the world.
Yes.
But people don't hold it at the forefront like this. They don't put development at the back and put religion first like this. They don't, I mean, they keep it maybe in the middle or at the back.
Yes. You see this
like, for example, take for example in the West, all the technology, the advances, healthcare, all of. You see, at the end of the day, but even the president, at the end of the day, he still says, "Oh, help me, God." He calls God another like. But if you look at it critically, it's not. He does not put it first.
Just recently, I was just
the problem with Africans is that they are putting it first. They are putting it first.
At the forefront, right?
First.
Just recently, I was having a conversation with some of my cousins. I told them that the recent Prime Minister of the UK, the guy that was just signing into office.
I'll just like to get to just chip in this before I forget it. Whenever I think about this thing, I feel that when you put it first like that, you become powerless. You stagnate.
Exactly.
You are limited. You cannot progress.
Exactly.
Because you will be there waiting for maybe for God or for somebody, an external influence to do things for you.
Exactly.
Whereas you can explore. Imagine right now I need money, for example. I need a car. I can just walk out there, explore, find out how I can do. Maybe I get a job or beg or do whatever I want to do and get the money. Instead of maybe praying or saying that, okay, waiting that, okay, maybe with God I can get a car when it is real.
Yeah, it's a flawed way of thinking. Don't get me wrong. Don't get those people. Don't get them wrong. These people are not they're not as naive as some people like to think that, oh, they stay in their room, pray for 5 hours, go outside and see a car. No, these people, if you ask them, they'll say no, we read in our book that you have to work and you have
Some
to
do.
pray, right?
Some
I mean,
do,
in
some
extreme
do.
cases, maybe in extreme cases, there can be those extreme cases where you say this guy says, I can pray for 8 hours and possibly get a miracle money without doing any work. Those are some extreme cases. But if it's your typical religious person will say, well, I'm not as stupid as you think I am. I know that I have to work, but I have to pray for 5 hours and I can work for 5 hours. That is a
All
very
right. You see me, for example, I'm a doctor. Imagine a patient comes to me. All right. I know what is wrong with that patient.
yeah.
I suggest a treatment. But let's imagine that, okay, whatever the reason, maybe it's expensive or something, or they're not comfortable with it, they decide, okay, they say they'll do with prayers. And in your mind, you are trying to figure out how prayers is going to help or something like that. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad.
So
Really bad.
I think it was Karl Marx who talked about that religion is the hope of a hopeless situation. It is the heart of a heartless situation. So it is the place where people turn to when, and you listen to the religion, what they call gospel music. You go to church. I went to church when I came to them. I went to church. You know, my cousin was. I just went to church to see how, because it's been long. But even when I was in Tech, I went to church once or twice or whatever. So, but it was quite a different atmosphere. So I went to church, and I just sat there and I could hear those chants again. And oh Lord, we are sinners, forgive us, we are wretched souls. And I'm thinking to myself, these guys are serious. This is no joke. We are wretched souls. We are helpless human beings, and you know, and I'm thinking, well, of course, but these guys, of course, they work. As I've said, they understand that ultimately you have to work. But in the subconscious, it is not. I cannot do it on my own. It's a normal thing that these people say, which in a way it's true. In a psychological way, you can make a point. You can make a psychological point on that. But the argument about the supernatural, not that it's human. So to these people, it doesn't end with human interactions, human influence, and maybe luck. There's a component of luck. And as I said, these things are complex. But it has to be the case that there is a God that is engineering things, that is distributing blessings and withholding blessings from A, distributing to B, that can open up your path. It as you've rightly said, it makes you reduce your own agency. You have enormous agency, in as much as there is randomness, there is luck, there is other things that are out of your control. But you as an individual, you have enormous agency to push, to make moves, and then the other factors can play in. But I think in a very significant way, this religion sort of stifles that agency, that individual agency. And it's a surrender of my agency, of a significant portion of my agency. Yes, I know I have to work, but I know I have to pray. I know that I really cannot do it. It's God that has to do it. But I have agency, but I really don't have, and I really cannot do it. So all issues around responsibility, around agency is diminished. And so to me, after looking at all of this, I asked the question, what next? What are you going to do something about it? Are you just going to not do something about it? If you're going to do something about it, what are you going to do about it? And so I sincerely think that education, not just, when we use education, people think it's, I'm trying to, maybe I could look for a better word. I use enlightenment at times, because when I use education, it's always misconstrued that it's formal education, university degrees, which is just nonsense.
Not necessarily.
It's not the only, yes, not necessarily. Because
look, You don't even need to go to school to be able to see things the way they are. Mm. Bon, there's also something I wanted to quickly brush up. Actually, two things. Why is it that it's mostly those who are okay, those who are poor or those who are in a bad place? Maybe they just did something bad. Maybe they're struggling, having hard times. Why must it be only this group of people who I don't know,
So
who are
yeah.
extremely religious? Why is it that? Why can you not just start by default? Maybe someone was already made it, like Musk, for example. Zuckerberg is already at the top. Well, he's not a layman. Maybe the president. No? Why would you not see all those people also gathering in church? I mean, every day evangelizing, doing things. Why? You are here. Why must it be only those at the bottom of the chain?
I don't know
Why?
if you.
Why?
I don't know
Because
if you appreciate.
I believe Africa is lagging behind. We are behind. We're not focusing on how to progress. I think this issue of religion is no. It's one of the reasons why we are stagnating.
There is something called, I don't know if you've ever heard about the term wicked problems. Wicked problems.
Wicked problems.
Yes, that's in social politics. Wicked problems are problems that are very difficult to solve because of the complexities and the stakeholders and the different parameters that are involved. Problems like poverty. How do you solve poverty? Where do you start from? The intricacies and the complexities and the stakeholders involved make it so difficult. And so, to me, what I've discovered is that you want to use the most effective tool that we have as humans to solve wicked problems. And I think the struggles of Africa and the different problems that we have, if you want to look them through the lens of the Sustainable Development Goals, there's 17 of them. Many of those problems Africans are facing, many of those at a very significant level. So you want to bring on board the tools of science and technology, and of course, collaboration. Collaboration is important. So to me, and
look, we could still use, if with the way these Africans are using, but with the way we are using religion presently, right? If we want to use religion to make the way it is, technically they can use religion to do anything they want. But what if they used it to hit all those sustainable development goals ASAP? Where are we going to be?
How do you think that can be done? I mean, on the aspect of charity has always
my
been
problem
there.
is that they're not. My problem is that they're not even thinking about it in that way. If they think about it, they'll probably figure something out. They'll probably come to maybe, I don't know. They'll probably realize that it's not feasible or something. I don't know.
Emma, here is something that I was thinking about recently. You know, when I talked about a knife being a tool and religion also being a tool. Now, religion is not an object. Religion is, so you might just refer to it as an ideology, a teaching of a sort. Diverse as it is, because there are different religions, right? Okay,
was religion always there from the beginning of time? How old is the oldest religion?
It's not the oldest religion. Is about 3,000 or 4,000 years. It's
what about Buddhism. Before that?
Buddhism. Before that, there's no known evidence of any religious practices.
None.
Before,
is it possible that there was none of these religions we have? Was it possible they never existed prior to that?
Yes, religion is not. I don't think with the development of maybe Homo sapiens or species before that, religion ever came in. The oldest religion that we know is about either 4,000 or 5,000 years old, which is Hinduism, I think. Before even Judaism came in, and Christianity, and more recently Islam.
All of us will agree that there were humans too, like us before that period. isn't it?
Yeah.
Voila. How did they survive then without the religion as we know it today?
Yeah, religion, you know, religion came, sociologists and anthropologists have looked at it. Religion began to form as people started asking questions with regards to, like, because first of all, the hunter-gatherer population, which was about 100 to 150, at that time, religion wasn't quite very important because people knew each other, they could interact.
It just reminded me of another crucial step.
Yeah.
Many people, same way I was saying that people don't think religion is true. Many people don't know or they don't want to understand that religion is also an ideology.
It is an ideology. It is an ideology.
People don't want to understand. People don't want to understand like that.
Yeah,
some people don't want to understand like that.
What I think, right? You know, there are things, there are psychological tendencies. There's a tendency called cognitive bias. I don't know if you know about cognitive bias.
It's just like scientists will say, okay, school of thoughts. Oh, yes, like this is a particular school of thought. You must not necessarily be right. There might be better school of thoughts.
Yeah.
There might be other ones. But I'm just going to illustrate some of the issues I have with religion. First of all, it's not logical. That's one of my main problems with it. It's not logical, and most of the time it's controversial. Means that I always how do you call it? I think when I say controversial, it's self-explanatory. They are always contradicting things. Wow.
Yes. That's the contradictions within it.
And then the last thing is that almost all believers, all these religions, they always push the ideology that their religion is the only true religion. Any other one is terrible. And you need to see the extreme lengths people go just to support their ideologies.
It's a flawed way of thinking. It's a flawed way of thinking. I have looked at.
Terrible.
I don't know if you appreciate the complexity of this thing. Yeah.
People have
they have. The problem is enormous.
If you believe that your God is wrong, as I said, to me, I'm not really a fan of all the religions, but I do respect those who have religious beliefs.
Sure, we have to as people living in a civil society, you have to respect individuals. But
of course, I always have my concerns. I always have my concerns, but I do respect them.
Yeah, it is the case.
I just wish they would have used. But I'll focus on Africans, for example. I wish they would have used this religion. Personally, I would just like to see a good Africa, a developed Africa.
Yeah.
We will not necessarily copy exactly the Western, but we have to progress. We need to.
Yes.
I would like to see an advanced Africa.
Are you?
No matter what it takes. No matter what it takes. If people know that they can use religion to achieve it, let them do it. That's just what I want.
I want to ask you something. Is it based? There are components of religion that you would consider that is based on falsehood. I mean, the foundation of religions are based on falsehood. You accept that? I don't know if you accept that. What I mean by the foundation, false. It's false. False. It's not true.
It's a falsehood.
Yeah, falsehood. It's not true. The foundation of religion is based on something that is not true, on a claim that is not true. Of all religions. Right? Okay. Now, is it okay?
And people, whenever we say it's not true and people are arguing, for something to be true, there have to be evidence, right?
There has to be evidence for it. It has to follow up. It has to align with reality.
People always say it's true, but they cannot explain how it's true. They cannot give evidence. They just believe it's true.
It's a matter of belief. It's a matter of cognitive dissonance that's happening. Biases that are happening.
Now, if you cannot prove that something is true, how do we know that it's true? For example, you and I are saying it's false here because we think it's not logical and there's no evidence to show that it's true. I think a typical religious person will not see it that way.
They will not see it that way.
So that's once they've believed, it's okay.
So that is the case. So what part of it, and it's good that we're already on a team as on Restake, and this is something that I intend to work with people like you. No matter, even Cedric is a typical Christian. He's on the team, but we would have, it's okay to have people of different perspective. So it is not just the fact, because I intend to, we're going to do, we can even do lectures or teachings, upload them, and it will not just end there. Even design a parallel institution. Come up and design a parallel system of education and have students come and teach and have them being taught, and let's see the outcome and let's compare it with yours. So we would design our own parallel institution. We're not just going to talk. We're not just going to talk. We're going to think, we're going to analyze the problem, and we're going to design our own parallel primary institution, our own secondary institution, integrating all of these things we are talking about with the practicalities, and then the students that would graduate from our institution would compare with the students from their own institution, and we'll see who will win. So that it is not just the case that we are talking, because, you know, everyone can talk. Let us go on the ground. If you think we are just talking and our ideas don't mean anything, we would implement, because ultimately we have to implement. We would implement our system, and the output of our system will compare it with the output of your system.
So what is your own school of thought? What is your own school of thought? In 2 lines.
Yeah. We have
2
just
lines.
2 minutes.
What's your own school of thought?
School of thought in terms of the solution, or in terms of the way I see.
You said you want to put in place your own educational system, but you would like to test it against the existing belief systems.
Yeah.
What is your own school of thought?
So consequently,
what will you teach in your own schools?
First of all, enlightenment values will be very important. Enlightenment values, which I already talked about. We're teaching students how to be independent thinkers, critical thinkers, how to appreciate diversity in opinion, how to communicate effectively, how to be confident to negotiate effectively, how to design systems, because ultimately it's system. If you want to run a consultancy business, you want to run an IT firm, you want to run a clinic, you have to understand system, and you have to be confident. If you're not confident, you can't start a clinic, because you don't even know what you're doing. You're a fake. So if you mean real, if you go through a system where you really understand what you're doing, then you have a confidence to build systems. So we are targeting, we're going to have an institution that target those components. And then independent thinkers. We're not forcing, we're saying, think about the ways in which, if you wanted to design a solution, how would you design it? If you wanted to create a universe, how would you create a universe? There is no overriding force.
In that case, I agree with you. Because personally, I think people with their religious beliefs are still, it's still important for people to have their religious beliefs. I don't think the goal here will be to change people's beliefs. You just have to present them with another way of seeing things.
Yes.
Voilà.
I believe.
If they are interested, fine. Of course, there's no harm in being a religious person.
Yes.
You just need to be able to, if you have real problems, provide real logical solutions.
Yes.
Voilà. If you are ill, give us a logical way of how you intend to get well. So it's a bit like that. Well, I think I'm on the same page with you here. It'll be interesting to see how you make it work.
We're running out of time, but yeah, this is a thing in which we would, because we're coming together to build a team. If we're building a team, then we're having a conversation